Billiken fans, welcome back. It is Zach Miller and Peter Hale. It's the Midtown Madness Podcast. Before we get going, thank you all so much for listening. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Once you subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notified every Monday morning when a new episode drops this season. Speaking of this season, thank you to everyone who supported us by supporting Two Men in a Garden. Because of you, they are back for the 2025-26 season of the Midtown Madness Podcast. We can't thank Joel and the team over there at 2 Men in a Garden for keeping the lights on over here at MMPHQ, STL, and Cincinnati. They are the St. Louis Salsa and Pickle Company, bringing you everything from mild to screaming hot salsa, hot mango, sugar-free, pickles from classic dill to smoky barbecue. You can find them in grocery stores all across St. Louis or online at twomeninthegarden.com. Shop your favorite flavors and learn more, of course, about Kitchen Hub STL. Don't forget to follow them on social media at 2 Men Salsa on Instagram and Twitter for the latest updates. Pete, let's talk a little bit of men's basketball, but we have a ton of fall sports to talk about this week. If you like soccer, if you like volleyball, if you're one of the sickos that loves the field hockey, this is your episode.
It really is, Zach. It's a heavy dose of fall sports, and luckily we have a lot of really positive things to talk about this week. So good week in SLU sports overall.
Yep. On the men's basketball side of thing, though, because that's why a lot of you are here. There was recruiting news this week. A local, I believe, right?
Yes,
a local player.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this one is Quentin Coleman. He's out at Principia for his final year. He was there last year as well. Visited SLU this past week. It's the third of 6 official visits to his 6 finalists. He's already been to Wake Forest and Texas Tech, and then next up he'll have Iowa, Illinois, and Texas A&M. So. Pretty competitive recruitment. SLU is the first team out of that whole bunch to offer. A lot of those are more recent as he kind of blew up this summer, but it's certainly tough competition.
Pete, he posts to Instagram. He said hashtag not committed. You know what? I got it. Somebody's got to say it. I think this kid might have commitment issues. I don't know about him. If you're not committed, I don't know, man. I need someone who's ride or die, and you use hashtag not committed. I don't know.
If he's got commitment issues, it seems like it's all the rage these days. Because yes. I'm seeing not committed a lot. So hopefully this generation figures out and learns how to commit.
I told my girlfriend not committed. She didn't like that. She didn't appreciate that joke.
I don't think that line would go over well in my house either.
Oh my God. Close the loop on Collin Ross for us.
Yeah, before I do that, I also want to remind people the staff checked in on Aidan Chronister down in Arkansas on Wednesday. Really high priority recruit for SLU, and I know Mizzou was down to see him as well. So, yeah, exactly. Tough competition for a top 100 kid. But yeah, I want to close the loop on Collin Ross. He visited SLU a couple weeks ago. Really good post defender. Nice big man out of, he's actually from Georgia, but goes to school up in Northern Ohio. But he committed on his visit to VCU this past weekend. The news went public on Labor Day. He was supposed to visit Dayton and Santa Clara too, but never made it. VCU sealed the deal while he was there. Pete,
I mean, he's breaking news on Labor Day, working on Labor Day. This is the kind of kid you want.
I know.
He's all a rise and grind even on Labor Day. Shout out Willie Reed.
He's also a defensive specialist too. That's that's kind of his bread and butter, and his profile is scouts are really calling him one of the best post defenders in this class. And so not only is he posting on Labor Day, rising and grinding,
yeoman's work.
He's doing the hard work, man. Yeah, he really is.
I think hearing that, I'm shocked that a defensive specialist is off the board to VCU. I'm shocked.
I think when people see him, and at VCU and everything, they'll go, okay, I get it. He feels like a guy VCU has had before.
How about what's going on with Jamison White?
Jamison White. So you'll remember he's one of the two sons of Jihadi White, who they went to Chaminade, and then they're going to be at East St. Louis for their senior year. But he committed to Penn State on Wednesday. Really blew up this summer with Bradville Elite, where he demonstrated the one skill that was kind of missing from his game, but that could put him over the head over the edge as a high level recruit, and that's shooting. He emerged as a big time shooter this summer in AAU, and his recruitment really took off for it. He already had a SLU offer, as did his brother, who at this point, I don't know, might actually be pursuing football. He's playing both, but we'll see what he ends up doing in college. The brother, that is, Jamison, is just playing basketball. So yeah, they both had SLU offers. Jihadi, we'll see what Jihadi Jr., I should say. We'll see what he does, but yeah. It's a shame to see him go off the board to Penn State, to a former VCU coach. So it's almost like getting beat by VCU twice this weekend.
You say Jihadi, I say Jihadi.
I always said Jihadi, and it seems like he's just trying to correct the record here.
Yeah, how does that happen?
I don't know. It's one of those things. If somebody walks up to me and is like, "Hey, Pat," and I just like roll with it, for a minute, because I'm like, yeah, who cares? But it's another thing when people are using the wrong name for your entire career, and only after you retire do you go, hey, you know what? My name's actually Jihadi. I would love to have him on the show just to ask about that. That's I'm so curious.
That's viral YouTube. That's one of those like YouTube channels that get into obscure stories.
Yeah,
that'd be a good one. If we can get Jihadi White on the podcast.
Yeah. This NBA player played his entire career under the wrong name.
Yes. Was he not the one that did the hats? That had a SLU hat on the table?
Ooh, I don't remember that.
Who was
were they doing that back then? Because he would have been he went to Georgetown, and he would have been like mid-90s.
Maybe it was a Kansas. Maybe it was a SLU. I don't know. We had one. I know there was one instance of like a pick up the hat and put it down.
Yeah, I remember the story more than who actually. Who it was, yeah, I don't. That was pre-social media and everything.
Yeah, that's. I mean, that's. Maybe we're looking. You say social media, and maybe we're looking through the lens of a post World Wide Web society. Where we just you can find anything out really if you want to.
Like the first. Beat writer at Georgetown would have been like, hey, what's going on with your name? Like it would have been like right away. It would have been surfaced.
Exactly. Yeah. You know what I never mispronounce?
Zach, that would be the exotic word salsa, which is not an English word, but you nail it every time you bring it up and talk about it.
And especially 2 Men in a Garden salsa.
That's right.
The word goated is thrown around a lot. But I think 2 Men in a Garden is in the discussion for goated as far as local salsas go.
It really is. And I as summer kind of comes to a close here, I'm really enjoying the fruit salsas. I moved on from mango, which I raved about last week. Strawberry. I say it every time, but like it's just a great flavor combination. It's something that like it really brings out the tomato more. It's like a richer tomato flavor in addition to strawberry. I love tomatoes, love the fruit, like the sweet and savory kind of combination all going on at once. It just works. It's great. Go get some for yourself. 2meninagarden.com. Check them out. It's not a flavor I see on shelves necessarily very often when I'm in St. Louis, so you might have to order that one online. But do that one. Tell them we sent you, and you won't regret it. 2meninagarden.com.
Pete, I like to think I'm the knowledge. I have a lot of knowledge. I'm not necessarily so intelligent. Overly intelligent, I'm not smart, but I know a lot of things. But what I don't know is what the hell a cherry tomato is. And then my question is, could you make a sauce out of a cherry tomato? And would that be like the grapefruit soda to like grape soda? You'd be like,
The issue with the cherry tomato, and no, I mean it is a tomato. It's not like your example necessarily. It's just small, right? It's just smaller. So I don't know if it would be the most efficient tomato to use. I don't
Okay.
like it's small.
We're talking efficiency here.
You don't get as much juice necessarily out of a cherry tomato ratio wise, right?
Okay.
I also personally, I mean, I like them. I like them like I'll split them up and put them on a salad. I actually used them in a pasta tonight that we made. But no, I think you're going to want a bigger, more flavorful tomato.
Well, that was the Midtown Madness cooking Q&A.
If you want to go like full cooking, I'm in. I'm still in. I'll co-host a cooking podcast for sure.
Do you ever watch Sam the Cooking Guy?
I don't know.
Yeah.
There's so many. There's so
Yeah,
many.
I know. He used to do like really good like things you could do with like crock pots, and then he got into like the mega meal type stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, get out of here, dude. You were cool for a minute.
I found him. He's Canadian.
Yeah. I guess.
All right.
Yeah, his
I'll check him
guy.
out.
He's a backyard like cooking kind of guy. He does everything in his backyard.
I like the photos I'm seeing so far.
Yeah. You know what I like a lot so far? Our soccer programs, the trajectory in which they're heading. It's really nice, and I think we need to talk about this men's soccer program. The rankings this week, they're sitting at 16 in the United Soccer Coaches Poll, 18 by Top Drawer Soccer, and number 15 in the College Soccer News rankings. And you head into this week, and it's really a rivalry week for these guys. You've got two most storied programs in college soccer on, what was that, Wednesday night, the St. Louis University in Indiana. Yep. You've got one of the most notable rivalry trophies in college soccer in the Browns boot. Pete, I'm curious, how would you describe this rivalry to someone who is mostly a college basketball fan?
So
the Indiana SLU rivalry.
I'm trying to think of a rivalry that's got just a ton of history and maybe isn't quite what it once was. And the complicating factor here, right, is like this is a game that used to be played in Busch Stadium. Like it was a big deal game, tens of thousands of people for a college soccer game between two colleges right across the river. But then as college sports sort of evolved, and you find SLU, in Conference USA and the Atlantic 10 and everything in D1. SIUE was in D2 for most of those years. And even though they were a great soccer program, there's still that sort of D2, ceiling on your perception as a program, right? So then they come back up to D1. I don't know, what's it been now, 15 years, 12 years, something like that. That they've been back in D1 and it's kind of reignited this rivalry at the Division I level. So what's the analog for that within college basketball using specific teams? I don't know. I'd have to think about that a little bit more. But I think that context is important, right? Like what it was, what it meant to the community, what a soccer crazy town St. Louis has always been. And then just sort of how it evolved over time. But they've managed to sustain this and make it still meaningful. And both of these programs are great, by the way. I mean, SIUE's been really solid the last few years. SLU's obviously always competitive. I know, the people who follow this program always want more out of them, but it's a great rivalry. I would say it's in really good shape these days.
Yeah, I think it would be something like an Indiana University Purdue basketball rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
You've got, it's still Indiana, which is funny, but like Indiana has just so much basketball history. Purdue has a basketball history. You've got a town, I guess, a state that's crazy about basketball. You've got a metro area that's crazy about soccer for all those years. So I think that's where I would throw it, maybe. Or maybe like a New York Philly rivalry of some kind.
Sure.
Where it's got a lot of semi-local basketball crazy cities. I don't know, maybe like a Boston, Boston. I don't know. I
I
think
bet if we were to find a better comparison for it, it would probably be over in English soccer, and it would be like two teams in the same city where one of them is like in the Premier League and then one of them dropped down to the championship for a couple decades and then came back up to the Premier League, and they still played each other occasionally over the years and friendlies or open cups or whatever.
what is it? Paris FC just got back up, and their stadiums are
Oh, okay.
like connected
And
almost. It looks like,
PSG, yeah, that's
yeah,
right.
I
I've seen
think
that
that is that
before.
right. Do I have that? I think I have that right.
I'll have
But
to, yeah, I don't know.
yeah, I wanted to come up with something basketball, and I think it would
Mhm.
have to be in like it would have to involve a you know like a basketball crazy area. I mean, you could throw the Tar Heel State in there maybe, but
Mhm.
again, neither of them went D2.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, and
or they never went
Kentucky,
down.
Louisville. Kentucky's a basketball crazy state too.
Yeah.
You've got Kentucky, Louisville, but again, they've always kind of not been in the same conference necessarily, and they've both had their kind of
You
ebbs and
you could throw
flows.
Louisville Cincinnati at it.
Um,
Cincinnati, Louisville would be more of the Billikens in this situation, and Cincinnati would be more of like that. Well, no, I think Louisville would be more like Indiana, and SLU would kind of be that Cincinnati that was like, they had their run and they're still relevant, but they're not making Final Fours.
yeah, but
Um,
that rivalry doesn't really get played today, though.
uh,
Would
well,
be
yeah,
the issue.
yeah, okay. Well, let's talk about the actual.
The actual game.
Yeah, I just wanted to go down a run. I figured, we did have a lot, but throw in a little curveball here and there.
Sure.
Look, like, I mean, the Indiana game, holy shit, right?
Yeah.
1-0, a loss number 4 Indiana, Wednesday the 3rd. This is a game, Pete, that I thought the Billikens played 83 minutes of really I'll say that later. I got that in the notes for later. But I mean, really, you look at this game and it's a moment of brilliance from Collin Zadoro for Indiana. He scores the game's only goal in the 7th minute. First goal allowed all season by the Billikens. It wasn't really against the run of play necessarily, because I thought it was a pretty even start to the game, but it was kind of a quick gut punch.
It really was, but you didn't get the idea that was going to be it, right? It just didn't have the feel of that kind of game. Obviously it can be it in soccer, right? Like two great teams can go back and forth and nobody capitalize on it, but you still kind of felt like something was going to happen. Like that just wasn't going to be it. I'm kind of surprised that one held up, to be honest.
Yeah, it was, kind of. I was worried that if Indiana scored a second goal, I figured we weren't going to make it back.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, that's also true.
Yeah. So with this goal, though, the Billiken player goes down. SLU expected a whistle. To what extent, I don't know, but they did stop playing, just even a hesitation. Indiana persisted. They have, possession. Ball ends up in the back of the net.
Yeah.
Incredible strike by Oduro. Can't really fault Abinell. Obviously, I think this SLU team has had trouble keeping the ball, not necessarily keeping the ball, but keeping the ball moving forward in transition. Yeah. They've been kind of bad at turning it over in transition. But it's tale as old as time. Player goes down, your team expects a whistle, and it's in the back of the net.
Yep, that's exactly right. The Hoosiers ended the half with a 5-3 advantage in shots, but flipped it in the second half when SLU racked up 10 shots to their 3, Zach, and some good opportunities.
Yeah, that rest of that first half was sphincter puckering, to say the least. Like I said, the SLU team is averaging 0.6 goals per game coming into this one, and another goal surely would have sealed it. Mm-hmm. I thought the Billikens responded well to that goal. They put pressure back on Indiana. Indiana did weather it though, and was able to get possession, really take the air out of things about midway through that half. But SLU again, they played well into the end of that first half, and then throughout the second half, again, I thought they controlled the game.
Yeah, I thought so too. 7 of their shots came from Theo Franca and Jackson Delkas. Franco, who had 3, Delkas 4. Both of them came off the bench and didn't play huge minutes, by the way. Shots on goal were 6-4 in SLU's favor, and both of those guys had 5 of those goals. I thought they really impacted the game in a big way, and I kind of I wouldn't say I was surprised at the decision not to start them, but maybe surprised that they didn't get more minutes given how effective they were.
You mentioned the not starting, and I do want to look into the minutes breakdown and like the starting lineups, because it does feel like there's an interesting dynamic with which Kalish makes subs early in that first half.
Mm-hmm.
Theo Franca started, so did Delkas in the next game, but in this SIUE game, and we're going to get into it, Leatherman doesn't start. Pare doesn't start, and Pare's been outstanding. So has Javi O'Neal. So it's interesting to see what is even coming off our bench. Right. But yeah, I was interested at how many subs came on at that one time there in the first half in the SIUE game. But in a word, this game, it's frustrating. You look at this game and you can say it was really bad luck and misfortune, and I would agree. But I think some of it really comes down to not finishing clinically.
Yeah. Oh, for sure, Zach. And when you say a team that came in averaging 0.6 goals a game, you're right, where that second goal, the looming threat of that second goal when you're down 1-0, you're just like, that's it. That's the kiss of death. So you don't know where 2 goals are going to come from this SLU team necessarily. 1 goal, sure, they can conjure that. They can walk out of there with a tie. But 2 would have felt miraculous. But Zach, it sounds like that was not your only frustration, that lack of clinical finishing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's a frustration. It's just one of those things that I watch and see in soccer that kind of bothers me, especially at the college level. It's a level where causing chaos can make things happen. And what? It frustrates me when the ball gets down below like below the penalty spot or below the penalty box. Mm-hmm. I realize you want to change the angle of attack sometimes, but I don't know. I think sometimes it's just better to whip the ball back in, recollecting it and just kind of tossing it back in there and making things get weird. I'm a big proponent of let's get weird in the box and just put the ball in and see how things go. Like, I don't know. I don't like corner kicks. I don't think anybody should be playing short corners in college. It's just right. Too chaotic. And this one, you talked about, you don't know where that goal is coming from. And especially when 2 Billiken shots went off the crossbar, including one in the 65th minute that came after 2 block shots right on the doorstep. And it just felt, again, like one of those games where you're playing a video game like NHL, mm-hmm. and you're dominating the entire game. Your opponent got a goal early. It was bullshit. And then you're just firing shots at the net. And no matter what, the goalie's making the save, no matter what a player's blocking it, no matter what, you're hitting the post. And you thought for sure by the end of this one, the Billikens would find the back of the net, and it just didn't happen.
And it's not just the 2 that hit off the crossbar, right? Just a minute before that, second one, the one in the 65th minute, there was a loose ball on the goal line that was cleared by a Hoosier defender, just inches away from tying it. It's just crazy, like that. Like at least just that those 3 pop to your head immediately when you're thinking of scoring opportunities, and they had some other good chances as well. Really, really frustrating. The word of the game in this one. Corners were 5-3 in SLU's favor. Fouls 13-8. SLU had more. but the Hoosiers did have the game's only yellow card. Zach, I think, we're highlighting all the frustrating aspects of this game, but I think there are some things that stood out that were more positive as well.
Yeah, I started down that road earlier in the discussion, and I think it's that 83 minutes. Indiana scores in that 7th minute, and from that point on, the Billikens played really, really good soccer against the number 5 team in the country. The Billikens were dangerous in attack in this one. I am a huge Abdul Karim Pari fan. Yeah. I think that kid has got flair. He's quick, running up and down the wing. Outstanding patrolling that attacking wing, going one-on-one with Indiana wingbacks, and they struggled with them all night.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. The other thing, Zach, is this counter press that this team has, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like it's one of the most effective they've had in a few years.
Yeah, I mean, this was the counter press, and by that I mean when the Billikens lose the ball, and they're the main priority is to win it right back. And it reminds me of that kind of that same counter press that Betcher and Klein teams had. So I think this is just a different team than we've had the last couple of years, and I think it's playing more in the style of those teams that were really successful here early in Kalish's tenure.
Right. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Zach, let's get to this bronze boot game. The game against Indiana, the thing I want to remind myself is that that's the number 4 team in the country, right? So as frustrating as it was, you go, well, we've got a lot of guys playing together for the first time this season. They go up early in the season against number 4 Indiana. It's not a terrible result. Like it's not one where you hang your head at all. It's just like you just got to finish, right? That's the difference there. Bronze boot, though, you get to the rivalry game, and this is one that they've lost the last couple of years in City Park on a big stage. Didn't really look great doing it either time either, right? So now you come back home. The bronze boot is going back to home sites.
Yeah,
and they came out with a 2-1 win, Zach, on Sunday the 7th, and they absolutely needed this one.
Yeah, I realized we were really dumb and talking about 2 different rivalries when we started this conversation. Now that I get into the notes, like you started down a road about SIUE, and then I was like talking about Indiana and SLU. We'll try that one next year. We'll wait till next year. We'll do it again next year. We'll come up with something.
Gotcha.
But the bronze boot, like you said, back to alternating sites for now. I obviously liked City Park. I thought SLU fumbled the bag in their marketing and being there and making it a kind of a destination, like a fun. They didn't do the stuff that they would do for out of town tournaments for basketball, and I thought that was a big swing and a miss. But it's back in alternating between Cordy Stadium and Herman Stadium. The Billiken fans, I am pleased to let you know that the bronze boot is back on this side of the river for now. The Billikens, Pete, this game, you watch that first half and you're like, okay. Is that Indiana game carrying over? Has this team kind of taken the wrong message from the negative message out of that Indiana game?
Right. By the way, you were talking about SLU Indiana that whole time, and I was talking about I was definitely talking about the bronze boot. I can say that.
Yeah.
And we're just talking past each other. Interesting.
Yeah.
No, SLU Indiana in soccer, I actually would say Kentucky Louisville is a good comp there. Yeah. I mean, especially because in soccer they're the teams with the two teams with the most titles.
Yeah,
there's a real history. I think that actually would be a good comp here, except they're different states, right? So anyway,
I would like a UCLA. I think you could throw a UCLA comp with somebody in there. I don't know who it would be. Maybe not a USC.
Wow, yeah, UCLA is a good one. Who's a good basketball rival for them that would make sense though on the other side of it? Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll think about that some more.
Like,
But in terms of taking the wrong messages back, I don't know what it is. It's just more not finishing, right? Like really good chances not finishing. I'm thinking of, we just talked about Paris. He had one to the upper left corner that I don't know how SIU is.
Oh, that was crazy.
Yeah, I mean it was
Incredible
a
save.
really nice, really nice save. They had a header before that got saved.
Yeah.
Pretty point blank range. So it's just the lack of finishing. They do everything else well but finish.
Yep. They finally finished. 58th minute, Xavi O'Neal finished a nice curving ball, through ball from Andrew Heckenleibel. Really sharp finish off his left foot, his inside of his left foot, Pete.
Yeah, well, his left foot was his inside, right? Like he didn't use his right, which would have been his outside leg. He played it off his left, so like it was kind of off the outside of his left foot, which was his inside leg. So I may have worded that.
Yeah, I used to. Okay, I got you now.
It was a good finish. And then in the 66th minute, another long ball found Theo Franca streaking down the right flank. The ball looked like it was going to go to the SIU keeper, who was running out to the corner of the box, and then the defender, SIUE's defender, kind of let up, thinking he was going to get it, and then Franca ran right past him. He and the keeper both touched it at the same time. The ball pops up, hits the SIUE defender's face, and then bounces toward the goal. And he just put it away from 15 yards away, kind of from an angle. But it was just a really kind of bang weird play that I'm sure both SIUE players would love to have back. Timmerman called it a rebound of his own block shot, but that's not really how I kind of looked at that one.
I'll since we're on hockey this week, that was very much a chip and chase play.
Yeah, sure, it
was a big time chip and chase play, and I was sitting there. I was on the far side, far side from the camera, and I was right on that line, and you could see Franca. He took off, and his defender wasn't looking at him. He didn't see him.
He had no idea.
He caught him off guard and just got by him. And I mean, you could see it coming, but obviously the defender nor the goalkeeper were paying attention.
That's right. The keeper didn't call it out because he's looking at the ball, right? Like he's going to go in and grab that ball just inside the edge of the box. Really smart play by Frank.
Yes. Hustle. Oh, Jesus.
Yes.
Hustle all the way. But I don't think we can sleep on that finish. How many times have you watched players with open nets or open layups or open anything and seen a player just biff it?
Yep. And it wasn't just that. I was already kind of holding my breath on that play because I was worried they were going to call something with him and the keeper, right? Like there was no foul on the play. They both went for the ball at the same time. The ball, like I said, hits off the defender and then ricochets toward the goal line. But the keeper, meanwhile, fell and rolled out of the box. And I was like, so I'm already holding my breath there. Like, please don't call something on the offensive player here. And then he shoots that shot. And yeah, you're right. Nothing is guaranteed. That wasn't a tap in by any means. So that would have been brutal had he missed that one. But
I got a question for you. What was the review late in the game where the ref waved it off coming out?
Was this the play where
were they looking for the penalty?
There was a weird play, and I don't know. SLU ultimately got a yellow on it. Sorry, I'm pulling up the box score now, where I think they were trying to review if there was a foul before that, the yellow card where Drake Fournier just shoved a player down. Do you remember that in the 78th minute?
Was it in the box?
You were driving home at this point because you had to leave a little early, right?
Yeah, to make the
So I think this would have been because this was about 12 minutes after the goal. And there was. Are you talking? Would the review have happened while you were still there?
Yeah, I was still there.
Oh, okay.
Because that's why I would have been listening to the game, so I would have known why they were reviewing it.
Gotcha.
But no, I mean we were sitting there and it was just because there was a moment where you know what had happened. Okay, so down on the Billiken defensive end, there was SIUE shouts for some sort of penalty, but then it comes back down, and then there's the clash of heads in the SIUE box, and then right after that, I don't know if anything happened because I was yapping the whole time, but they go to the tent, the VAR tent, and then he comes out and waves it off. I don't remember what the review was. We didn't really have a good answer on what. We just knew they weren't calling a penalty.
Yeah, gotcha.
So, yeah, I don't know. Well, that's that. Let's see. SIUE did get one back in the 87th minute, the second goal scored against the Billikens this season. Bummer, but fortunately that was it. By the way, Betlak needs to chill on these road goal calls. I need a little more homer out of him.
He gets a little too excited for the other team.
Dude, speaking of which, I watched the abomination that was the 10-goal game between George Mason and West Virginia today.
Oh, wow.
The men's game, by the way, George Mason fraud alert. And their announcer was like, he put some emphasis on the goal that West Virginia scored. And I was like, if I was a Patriots fan right now, I'd be annoyed at how much oomph he gave that call. I was
gotcha.
Like, that's a little much for me. Anyway, the shots were 17-9 Billikens. Shots on goal 8 for SLU, 4 for SIUE. Corners were 5-3 Billikens, and the fouls Billikens had 14. SIUE had 10. Pete, I think the biggest thing to take from this week and kind of the season so far, but I think mostly this week has really changed. The intensity that we saw in that Indiana game was a huge swing from kind of the first couple games. And, the intensity against SIUE, it was there in the same manner, but that intensity was just non-existent. We talked about that reverse press, and the intensity that is required for that reverse press was non-existent the past two seasons in the Bronze Boot game, at all. Like the Billikens this week just took a step higher in energy, in effort, in intensity, and I think that's again a welcome sign after the last couple of years.
I would agree with that completely. And the other thing that I would add to that is I cannot get over how skilled this team is. Like they really, there's so many times where you look like, okay, guys, it's too tight, spread things out. But coach. Okay, Coach Hale. Pinpoint pass in tight spaces. They can dribble their way out of trouble. They're all really, really skilled and fun to watch that way. They just don't finish. And I've been wondering, is this just a matter of, do they just, because this is a lot of young guys. There's a lot of freshmen and sophomores playing. There's a lot of transfers playing. Is this a matter of there's going to be one opponent who just gets the brunt of it, right? And they go off for 4 or 5 goals or something like that. And then that opens up the floodgates. Or is this just yet another version of this team that just doesn't have that finisher? I looked at last season's results because I was curious about that because I didn't remember them having that kind of game, right? And it really was. So they had that great win over Indiana to open this season. Then they lost 1-0 at SMU, tied IU Indianapolis, lost to SIUE at City Park, as we know. They won out at Portland 2-0, but not a blowout or anything like that. Tied Lipscomb, and then got into the conference season and started with a couple ties or 1-goal games. It just they never had that big breakout until they beat George Washington late in the season. They beat Blackburn late in the season. That didn't really matter, and then they got their butts kicked at Dayton. So I do wonder, this group to me looks better than that group. It looks like they have more skill. And I'm just like, I'm looking ahead at this schedule and seeing Portland and Missouri State come to SLU. And I'm like, is one of those going to be the game where, those are two very good soccer this is a great non-conference schedule. It's got to be one of the best in the country. I look at those two games and just kind of wonder, like, is somebody just going to get the game where they break out? And that's kind of what I'm watching for, because to me, everything looks like it's there except finishing. That's just really it.
Yeah, I really like the way this team, I like the way the team plays at, in those tight spaces, and they're doing it at the top of the box too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you see so many of these Billiken teams over the years haven't had that ability to play there. They've had the ability to kind of do that in wider spaces, out wide, and a lot more crossing, and a lot more kind of, again, get weird goals. And I think this team, while I would really like them to try to, take more shots at goal. And we saw a ton of shots against Indiana. We didn't see as much against SIUE, but again, I just want to see a little more direct play.
Yeah.
By the Billikens. I think I did really like the way the Billikens defended in these two games as well. I think, in that Indiana game, you're playing against, a Big Ten team, right? SLU is still, you've got highly rated recruits, but again, the P5 is P5 and it's a little bit bigger. Right. And I thought the way they played again that game, they asserted their dominance physically. And then in that SIUE game, they played really well. SIUE was really content on playing route one, playing up to their target forwards, letting them hold the ball up. And SLU really bodied and won head balls and just did really well. And I think this is a different team, man. This is different. This harkens back a little bit further than recent history.
Yeah, they're really, really good. I think the eye test is there. You gotta watch this team play.
Can we get negative for a second?
Well, for Zach, next up.
Oh yeah.
Portland, Friday the 12th at SLU. Last season, like I said, they won 2-0 at Portland. It's the only game this week, so hopefully they get a lot of rest and take out all of the frustration of not scoring on. I believe they're the Pilots.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that isn't that where the no, that was another team. What was the Pelicans? Remember when the announcer kept saying Pelicans? Was that Portland
men's basketball? Yeah, it was. We were somewhere out in the Northwest. I think you may be right.
I think it was Portland. But the soccer uniforms, man, I don't get this. Like, I tweeted out before the Indiana game, but these St. Louis these white kits, I just don't get it. They're so boring.
I like them from a distance because I'm a sucker for like a nice, like all white home kit. I think it looks great in every sport, by the way.
Yeah.
I think home whites should be standard in every sport. I hate that the NHL switched. The NBA, nobody wears white uniforms anymore. They've got different jerseys every game. Baseball's getting that way too. Football, it's the inverse. Home white just looks so good to me. I don't know. So from a distance, yeah, I really like the look. Up close though, I agree with you. They are just kind of
it's very generic.
It's a plain white shirt with our word mark on it, and that's it.
It's so funny because like we have a unique branding identity for soccer.
Yeah.
It has its own branding.
Yep.
Why are we ditching the crest? Like this to me, it's another piece of like we're St. Louis's team, but like you can put it on the jersey. That doesn't mean shit. Like it's just you have the crest. The Billikens we saw the jerseys they wore in spring, the hoops with the sash.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable jerseys. Those full-time they should come back for, like they wore them and they updated the crest. Yeah. It's just we have the 10 stars. Like, if I don't know, throw 10 stars above St. Louis, please.
Yeah.
Like, we have 10 stars. Why not use the 10 stars?
Yeah.
That would be sick.
Completely
Actually,
agree.
you could, the jerseys would transform from like bland to really cool if you put 5 stars above or 5 stars above St. Louis and 5 stars below St. Louis.
Yeah.
Like
That would be cool.
that'd be sweet. And I just, I think first of all, those hoops and sash are like unique, and SLU does some cool shit. Like they're so odd about it because like the field hockey turf, they went full on blue. Like that's surprising. They with I don't know, the champion or the soccer locker rooms, they're heavy SLU branding. Like everything's blue. Anywhere you could make it blue, it's blue. And and then you come to the soccer jerseys and it's just not, there's no creativity. There's no it's like they're trying to be Wimbledon. It's just boring, man. I need some character on these jerseys. Let's move over to women's soccer, Pete. By the way, ran into Jeff DiMaria tonight at the Bronze Boot. One of my all-time favorite soccer guys. Yeah. Just absolutely just a killer dude. He one of my favorite Billikens, favorite indoor play. Like I got to know him when I was working for the Ambush, and I mean he's just fought like he was. You know what? I talked to it when I talked to him. I go, Demo, that year, 2013, when I was with the team, how old were you? And he was 35. So like, it's just very funny to think that I'm the same age that he was when I first kind of got to know him. It's just kind of a weird thing, but more importantly than that, he is the father of Maddie DiMaria, the number 1 player in the 2027 class.
Yes. And some would say the best girls high school player in the country of any class.
Yes.
She won that National Player of the Year award last year as a sophomore, to kind of put her in context. Like she's a generational talent out of St. Louis.
And she finally made her visit to SLU this week. We had heard it was Stu reporting, I believe, that she was called up to Spain and to play for the national team, the youth national team.
Right. Yep.
And so that was postponed, and her visit was this week. And I don't know if she was at the game tonight, but it's good to have her on campus. And I've heard SLU did well.
I think she wants to take a few more visits before ultimately making a decision. We've had a lot of 2027 players already call it for SLU and other schools for that matter. So it is the time of year where you're getting those early commitments for that class, which is kind of crazy, by the way, because, here we are, it's in basketball. Like this is the time of year where you're getting the early commitments for the seniors, for the class of 26. So it's weird that like the junior, I guess it being a fall sport, it's a little bump back in the calendar, but it's still pretty early. But regardless, I think she's gonna, do a few more visits before making a decision. But when she's on the U.S. Women's National Team program for her age bracket, U16 or I believe it is, she's just gonna have those responsibilities in addition to like her high school and club responsibilities. So she's just busier than most players are at that age.
And it's interesting because that continues in the college. And we've seen players, take time off from playing college soccer in the middle of the season to go play in tournaments. So, for sure. Again, I think it should come to no surprise that Katie Shields is impressive, and I think they made a good pitch.
Yeah, I mean they've got to, right? I mean, she's been a priority for them ever since. I mean, probably since grade school. I mean,
and even if she wasn't a priority, man, I still think the Billikens, would have, I mean, I think that the program that Katie Shields run is utterly impressive, and I think they got a good a shot at anybody. Just depends on. I think it's gonna come down to whether or not you want to have that weight on you of being a. I think there's two different weights, right? There's your brother played here, your dad played here, you're coming in here, and even if she wasn't the generational talent that she is, that's still, even if she was going to be, a program changer, right? There's a difference in level between a program changer and a generational talent, and I think she's both of those at one time. So not only do you come in as a program changer that has a legacy at SLU, now you're coming in as a generational talent, and you're putting your city, your hometown team, and again, or you're playing for a team in your hometown where your family can come watch, all your friends can come watch, and then there's that extra pressure, and then you've got, what I don't know. I think, and these are all just my guesses. So, but I think that's all stuff to be considered. And I think going away to a Power 5 school is enticing. It's always enticing. So we'll see how it plays out. If I had to, I flip a coin, man, 50-50. But I love where SLU's at with them, to be honest with her. Sorry.
Yeah. Well,
we rarely talk about like uncommitted athletes outside of basketball. It's kind of funny.
I know. Well, I mean, she's different, man. She is different. The other thing I'll add is the other part of the opportunity here, and I don't know anything about them or where their heads are at or anything like that, but there are other players in the class of 2027 in the St. Louis area who have played up for the national team for their age bracket. They're not at her level, right, where she is that player. But they are like big time recruits, big time players, have played in the national team system. And to me, the question is it possible to get more? Like if you were to get Di Maria, for example, could you get those other players in addition and really make this that generational class that's just totally blows it open for SLU? I mean, we've already seen this program become a top 10 program in front of our eyes over the last few years. And you wonder,
it's been fun to report on it.
Right. So anyway, so that's the kind of, that's the question I would ask, because it's one thing to be like SLU men's basketball when we landed Larry Hughes, but it's like if you could get more elite, like kind of 5-star recruits in one class. And I know that's asking a lot of the program, but anyway, to me, that gives you the opportunity to really build something more sustainable. But having a player of her caliber in your backyard and having a legit shot at her is just it's awesome. And obviously, you and I are very biased and want it to go our way.
Yes, absolutely. The Billikens did pick up a commitment this week, the 2027 class. Wait, hold on. I did want to say something. Yeah, I mean, we talked about like Tatum, right? Like,
yeah,
if SLU would have got Tatum, what other players would have ended up here, right? I think it's a better way to put it than now, because yes, NIL is a big deal now, but I think with women's soccer, I think obviously that generational talent like Di Maria will command some good chunk of change as rev share, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, I think those pieces around her, where Maddie Di Maria as a teammate is the draw, It's not the money. Whereas, back when Tatum was being recruited, there was no money involved. Well, there was, but it was on the down low. But anyway, all right, yeah. Let's talk about this commitment, Pete.
Yeah, Zach, let's, because like we said, a lot of 2027 players have gone their way already. This one is Marin Gansner from Kirkwood High School and Lou Fuse 08 GA. She lists herself as a wingback mid/forward. So I guess she'll play anywhere on the wing. Very versatile player that way. Not the first one of those, by the way, in this class where I've seen them list at least 3 different positions. So another exciting piece to add to the class, another local player, a lot of local flavor already in the class. Pretty exciting though. Katie Shields is putting a class together.
You multi-sport, multi-position. They like yeah. The women won a 2-1 decision against Missouri State on Thursday the 4th. It is the first time in Billiken history that video assistant review or replay has been used, I believe, but not basketball, I guess. Video review. So,
yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
But I guess in soccer it's just really location dependent, right? Like the rules now allow for it, but not everybody's going to be able to do this.
The rule actually, so yes, it is optional, or it's location, which I think it's always been that way. Like volleyball could have had it, and we'll get into that. That's a fun story. But for soccer, I think any sport, you have to have it if you want to host an NCAA tournament game.
Gotcha.
That is a requirement. So, but I will say that at some point along the way, we're going to need to implement some sort of challenge system. The ref cannot, we cannot just let the ref continue to go to the monitor anytime he's not sure of, or she is not sure of what they saw. Because these games are going to take forever. That game took absolutely forever. But what do you think of the new VAR setup? The location, the tent. What are we rating it?
I don't know. It's funny to see it happening at SLU. You're just I just don't, for the reason you said, I don't necessarily love it. Right? It's college soccer. I know the stakes are high for the people involved. But I kind of feel like, ooh, do we really need this at the college level? I don't know. In terms of the setup itself, I don't know what else they could do. There's nowhere else to go.
Who had Indiana had an iPad, or was it Missouri State that had an iPad?
Or SIUE.
SIUE had an iPad today.
Yeah.
That's what it was. So I guess you could have an iPad. Which really would be easier.
Yeah,
just all you have to do is.
Seems like less fuss to me.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just another pop-up tent on campus.
Yeah, no shortage of those.
No,
from snack bars to to VAR tents.
Yep. It was scoreless at halftime. Pete, the Billikens outshot Missouri State 8-3, including some woodwork action. The Billikens finally broke through in the 49th minute when Hannah Larson split the defense in the box, got tripped up, drew a PK. It stood after the review. However, actually, they didn't get breakthrough here. Hannah Larson broke through the defense. However, Hope Kim didn't do so well on the PK.
No, it was the penalty itself was reviewed briefly. It stood up, and then I don't quite know what Hope Kim was trying to do here. It was like I was watching, like, her approach looked kind of very casual and slow. And then it looked like a soft pass to the keeper. Yeah. Like it was like the first thing you roll at her as you're warming her up and you're just trying to get her to go side to side a little bit. I don't know what that was all about. Very confusing. I just what do you think's going through her head at that moment? What do you think her goal was with that exact motion there?
Well, I think she was trying to score.
Well, yeah.
But I no, I think I think she was just indecisive. I mean, it seemed like maybe the she. I mean, I'm obviously not in her head, but it seemed a lot like maybe the goalie made a move that she didn't expect mid like run up,
Yeah, sure.
and then just kind of overthought it and didn't just try to hammer it whatever way she wanted to go. Stick with it.
Well, that's the other issue, right? She didn't hit it hard enough to leave a rebound. It just went right to the goalie's waiting arms.
Yeah, I think she just directionally the goalie went, one way and or maybe made a step one way and it not distracted, but caught her off guard and she just didn't kind of follow through. She overthought it and kind of just
Yeah.
duffed it.
I guess the good news is if you happen to think that that wasn't a foul, then you would be, that would assuage your issues there, right? Because she missed the PK. But
Andre Brower vindicated .gif.
yeah, yes. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Super obscure.
And then in the 53rd minute, luckily, just 4 minutes later, Julia Simon headed in a ball off a double lob. Really, it kind of made the ball bounced high a couple times. First sent in by Caroline Shire, then headed up again by Kim to a waiting Simon right in front of the net. So not the cleanest, crispest goal, but they made something of it and got on the board finally.
The Billikens got a little help in the 62nd minute by the butterfingers of the Missouri State keeper. Hannah Larson sends in a corner kick into the waiting hands of said Missouri State keeper. She can't hang on to it. Hope Kim was right there on the doorstep behind her to finish it. Not sure how it got through her hands. I can't begrudge a keeper, man. They tried.
Yeah, she tried. It just, again, something she'd like to have back. But the good news here, Zach, is it was some redemption for Hope Kim after that missed PK because now she had an assist and a goal to make up for it. Not too much later, though, 70th minute, Missouri State got one back from the penalty spot. Lucy Schwartz was called for the foul. I think it was the right call. She just, player kind of beat her. She tripped her. That was that. It was just inside the box, kind of over on the side. But luckily, Zach, that was the end of the scoring in this game.
Yeah. It was not the end of the drama, however. A heavy collision with under 5 minutes to play led to Caroline Shire's evening ending earlier than hoped. Appeared to not be an injury, so to speak. I don't know if I saw her in the SIUE game. Doesn't feel like I did. At least didn't hear the name. But
I'm looking up right now what her minutes were.
The shots were 14-9 Billikens, 6-2 shots on goal in SLU's favor. Corners were 10-2. Fouls 12-11 on the Bears. Shields said Blakely Hockett had a great 90 minutes at center back. She was excited about Julia Simon coming back and raved about what she brings to the team. She makes everyone better, still building up minutes. She talked about not being happy with how they were Sunday and at Iowa, and she didn't know if they got there tonight or not. I thought they did well in this one.
Yeah, she sounded the tone of her interview was it was funny. She sounded just kind of ambivalent, or a little sort of mixed, right? Like happy to get the win, but just wanted more out of them. I very much know the feeling. And Zach, to circle back on your question, it looks like Shire was held out of today's game against SIUE. So I don't think it was anything too serious. I think it was probably more of a precaution. That they can let her sit, a week instead of just a few days. So hopefully we see her back soon. You're on mute.
Let's talk about that SIUE game.
Yeah. Yeah, let's.
Sunday the 7th, Pete, 3-0 win at Ralph W. Cordy Stadium, I believe.
I think you got it. This first one, Zach, 10th minute, Izzy Lubert hit an absolute pill, as you called it, from about 25 yards out off a Hannah Larson assist to put the Bills up 1-0. It's funny, if you look at the actual box score on SLU's official website, they refer to it as a rocket, which is pretty funny. You don't see a whole lot of liberties taken in writing box scores, but it says rocket from 25 yards out.
Apparently, there is no middle initial. When did they put in turf? They didn't have turf last time we were there. I know that. That was it for the first half. The Bills outshot the Cougars 10-0. It wasn't until the 78th minute they made it 2-0. Hope Kim heading in an Eva Schreiber assist from about 4 yards out, and this was an absolute gorgeous goal, Pete.
Yeah, really nice play. And Hope Kim, again, emerging as a big scoring threat for this team. We saw it in those exhibition games, and now she's really starting to find her stride this season. Knew she was going to be a threat.
The pass from Schreiber was just perfectly weighted, flighted, all the things, curling away from the SIUE keeper, curling over the head of the SIUE defender. And it was about as easy as you can get for Hope Kim.
Yeah.
But none of us, we couldn't have done that. No way. Like, let's be real. It was easy for Hope Kim because Hope Kim's really good at soccer.
She is, but that wasn't Schreiber's only assist. She had one in the 85th minute to Adi Brosder to tap it in, seal the win at 3-0. It's another one that she just served up, and all she had to do was tap it home, and that was that. 5 minutes to go in the game.
I really liked the way Brosder played in this one. I thought she was really dynamic, really, really good player, and showed out in this one. The Billikens had 27 shots to SIUE's 1. Shots on goal were 13-0 Billikens. Corners were 16-3 SLU. Fouls were 4-3 SIUE. I mean, this could have been 8, 9, 10-0, honestly. The final score certainly wasn't as dominant as last season, but SLU overmatched the Cougars in every regard. Yeah. Pete, what are we taking away from this evening? We don't have this week for the Billiken women. We don't have anything written down, but I'm curious to what your takeaways were.
Yeah, this SIUE game felt a lot like games that we've seen in recent years from this team, where they will outshoot, outcorner, like everything in the box score is just completely lopsided, and then the final score is 2-0, 3-0, something like that. We've seen this one before. So I wasn't necessarily discouraged by the fact that it was 3-0 instead of 5 or 6 like it's been the last couple of years against this team, because we've just seen it before. But we also don't have those veteran clinical finishers that we've had on this team in recent years. So that to me is, it's encouraging, or at least not discouraging, right? And the Missouri State game, would you have rather that be 2-0 than 2-1 or something like that? Yeah, sure, fine. Missouri State's not bad, though. I think this is a case of SLU not having all of those veterans again, and Missouri State being a little better this year than they were last year, at least to my eye. So overall, I think it was a positive week. It's a good bounce back week. They've had some tough losses against some of the top teams in the country in Iowa and Penn State, but I think they kind of feel like they're more where they were a few years ago, where they're kind of like a little bit outside that top tier in terms of the experience and athleticism and all that kind of stuff. And you hope they kind of grow into that. So it's just that kind of year. I guess if this is a rebuilding year for this program now, I'll absolutely take it, because there's a lot of things to like about the way they're playing.
Yeah, I think they're coming along really well. I think this team's going to be ready for the A10 season. We'll see. I think they're absolutely the favorite. They've come around enough at this point to say they're still the favorite, and if they can increase that scoring, I think they might, they might run away with it again.
Yeah.
We'll see. Let's see. Next up, Sunday the 14th against Illinois State here in St. Louis. The Billikens are 4-2-1 all time against the Redbirds, 3-0-0 at home. The Billikens have won the last 3 meetings, most recent of which was a 2-0 win at home in 2021. Pete, let's head over to the court for some volleyball. The Billiken Invitational this weekend. By the way, coming up, we'll talk about it next week, but Beatty was able to put together a tournament with Missouri State, SEMO, and Kansas City. The Missouri Challenge.
For when? This season?
It's going. Like it's next week.
Wow, I've not. I guess I've
not
paid that close
that
attention
literally.
to the schedule.
I feel like every Billiken fan who had college hoops 2K or March Madness or whatever would put together this tournament. Like they would. That's like the fantasy tournament.
It's the Missouri Challenge, and it's basically everybody except Mizzou. That's pretty cool, though. Yeah, I like it.
And that should rotate. It will rotate, is what I'm saying.
That's cool. That's smart. So they'll play at all those other places over the next few years.
Yes. Let's see. A 3-0 win against Austin P to open up the tournament. Friday the 5th, 25-23, 25-17, 25-21. Jetta Brenning, 36 assists. Ermac Gochin, 11 kills. The Billikens held P to .011 hitting percentage, a real trickle for P of offense, a trickle of offense.
That's just well put, Zach. You couldn't resist.
Nope.
That's great. Another dominating performance on Friday, 3-0 against Missouri State. This one was even more lopsided, 25-19, 25-16, 25-12, just total domination. Ellie Rink had her first double-double with 14 kills and 10 digs. Kayla Jansen hit 643 in this match after going 571 in the first one with 9 kills in each. And then Jetta Brenning, 31 assists, 7 digs, 4 kills, 3 blocks, 3 aces. Somehow, as well as SLU did in the first match, they held the Racers to an even worse hitting percentage than they did against Austin P. Negative .011, Zach. I'm not a great math guy, but that's bad.
Yeah. Is this like one of those Celsius Fahrenheit things where it looks worse in Celsius than it is?
They didn't change the scale though. It's all the same scale.
No, this is a funny one because what's it like when like they have how they have the house divided stickers or like bumper stickers.
Oh God, yeah. When people have like a flag outside the
yeah. This was like one of them, except my girlfriend didn't give a shit
because she went there, right?
She did go there for a hot minute.
And you couldn't get her to care about this.
Yeah, no, not even a little bit.
No.
3-1 to close out the weekend. A 3-1 win against Western Illinois on Saturday the 6th. This one was closer than the other two. I will say I really liked. We'll talk more about her in the roundup for the weekend. But I really liked. The Billikens lost that third set. The scores were 25-23, 25-22, 24-26, and then 25-17 in the fourth. That third set, the Billikens had a couple opportunities to kind of make a move and were super aggressive. And I loved the attitude. Jetta Brenning went for a dump. Wait, let me rephrase that. Jetta Brenning, Jesus Christ. Jetta Brenning, setter, Jetta Brenning, tried to dump the ball over the net, which is a play you kind of look like you're going to set it back or that way, and you just kind of dump it over, or you can like slam it down, right? She went for that, damn near game point, got stuffed, but I loved just going for it, right? You've been the best player all weekend and you take the game into your own hands. And I love that out of a freshman. She was unbelievable all weekend, but in this one, she had 50 assists.
50.
Ellie Rink with another double-double, 17 kills, 17 digs. Tamia Maddox was second with 16 kills. I tell you what, I really like Tamia Maddox. Undersized outside hitter, 5'7".
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 5'7", but, it's like she has ups, man. Fearless, especially for a freshman. This was a fun game. I got to make it out Sunday for the game, and it was. This is a really good team, man. Not a really good team. This is a very, very talented roster. It's I think this team has a lot more talent. I think this team has a lot more volleyball intelligence. I think they're the service reception is a lot better this year. I think the serving is a lot better this year. I think the connection within the team's a lot better this year. And we'll get to, we're gonna wrap it up on the week. But I really like how much skill and intelligence this team has for being as young as they are, and fearless too.
Yeah, love what I'm hearing so far about them. But Zach, I think even more pressing was I hear you made some friends with the Western Illinois people in this game.
Yeah. Me and their head coach are tight now.
That's great.
We had a little back and forth. It wasn't anything bad. I mean, like I was, he was complaining about calls, and it's like the thing about him, Dale Starr is his name, right?
It's great, man.
Yeah, Dale Starr. His facial hair, awful, first of all. But it's like his team played really well in that first set. Like really, really well. And he goes off, or maybe it's the second set. I don't know. But he starts getting pissed off at the officials, the umpire and shit. And I'm like, dude, your team, from there on out, the team played like ass that set. And I'm like, dude, your team, you're killing your team. Like there are teams that, get pissed off for greatness. And then there are teams that get that kind of, oh, we're getting screwed type attitude. And it just felt like that's kind of the attitude he said. And I was just giving him shit for it. And he said it was a piece of shit school, SLU, because we didn't have a review.
Oh, he said.
Yeah. He said, piece of shit school.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah. He was upset that we didn't have video review.
Interesting. That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
I'm looking at him now. I don't know if I'm going to.
It's better in his picture.
His facial hair.
It's better in his
he has the
profile.
same kind of gray pattern I do.
Yeah, no. Yours is much more. You keep it. The manscape. You keep it tight.
Okay.
His is very loose. It's loose.
Got it.
He's the kind of guy that has the what's the hairnet down here? When you go to the guy.
Oh God, yeah, in the cafeteria.
Yeah. But he's kind of a whiner. So I think I had one of my better ones that got him chuckling. I said, put this guy out of his misery. He doesn't, something like, put this guy out of his misery. He doesn't want to come back down here or something like that. Yeah. He thought that was funny, but I don't know. That's fun. It was rare for him. It was a little bit of vintage Zach out there, so not too vintage. Not too vintage, like
Well, you've already revealed your age in this episode, so
yeah.
There's only so far you can go at this point.
I know. Look, the player of the week really here is Jetta Brenning. I think she just makes this team a lot better, a lot more dynamic in attack. She can again set. She's an incredible setter. She made some really great kind of. I don't want to say save. Like she kept plays going. That maybe I don't know. It could have been a terrible set, but it put the attacker in a good position to save the point. And speaking of saving the point, I think this team is a lot better in that scenario. We saw a lot of that last year where they would make an attack and the other team would make a miraculous dig or save, and the other team would come back and get that point. And in this one, SLU stays with it, and they're not the team to kind of get out of rhythm because they think they've won the point. And so I really like the intensity from this team, and I think it matches the head coach. I think that's where it starts, and I'm serious.
Yeah.
Like, everything I've heard around the program the last couple of years was that it was a lot of the girls that stayed around after Kent left or was fired or whatever you want to say. Mm-hmm. They matched his kind of energy, and he was for better or worse, kind of the milquetoast, like very even keel. Couldn't get an emotion out of him if you tried. And I think that that Beatty energy isn't for everybody, right? Looking back at Ann Cordes, Ann Cordes was about as tough mentally on her players as anybody. And I mean, she got a lot out of them, credit to her, but I think Beatty's much different in that way. I think she's much more of that players era coach, but I think she still has that very fiery energy. And I think this team gets pissed off for greatness. Whether or not they can reach that greatness it's another story altogether, right? But I think this is a team that can fight for that top 4 spot in the A10. I think they're right there with a VCU, right there, maybe behind Loyola and Dayton, but there. So it should be an interesting season. I thought Ellie Rink was really good, but again, I think everything again runs through Jetta Brenning, and she makes all the hitters better because she's deceptive. You don't know what she's going to do, and that's going to be important. They're going to need to step up their performance this weekend. They're heading to the Cyclone Invitational, Pete.
Yeah, they are, Zach. Up in Ames, Iowa this weekend. They're going to face the home school Iowa State Cyclones and the Omaha Mavericks too. But it's great to hear everything you're saying about them, and a team that kind of is in lockstep with their coach, and her energy and her character and all that kind of stuff. I think goes a long way. You need buy-in, right? You need buy-in.
Yeah, and I think that was the point I made back when we were talking about the next volleyball coach. When Kent Miller was kind of towards the end, it was like, it's got to happen. It's got to happen. Bring in a young coach, and yeah, I mean, young, inexperienced, whatever. But like, you look at kind of the energy that Ann brought, and Ann Cordes was a great volleyball coach. May have been a little harsh on her players, whoever you want to. But I mean, that energy is still something that you can build around and bring in players. And what I like about this team is she's bringing in undersized players that are really good. And obviously it's going to be a worry that some of these players are going to head for money, but like, if you can bring in undersized athletic players, they're going to get better, but they're not going to get taller. And these Power 5 schools are looking for the size.
They are.
So if you can find undersized players, you can keep them around for 4 years. And I think that's a spot that Beatty can kind of exploit in a way.
Yeah.
Kind of like what Josh Schertz is doing with high schoolers in the rev share, in this rev share space, but era. Sorry, I should say era. You mentioned a team in lockstep with their head coach, and that's something that I'm kind of hearing whispers about when it comes to a program that really has never had that before.
I think we have spotlighted this program, Zach, more in the last 12 months.
Are we the biggest field hockey podcast outside of Europe
than SLU field hockey has ever been highlighted? Yeah, for better or for worse. But they had a really good weekend, Zach, starting with a 3-1 win over Ohio in their home opener on Saturday the 6th. I believe this was their first win over a D1 team in 2 years.
Yes, I believe it was October of 23 against Lock Haven, and you have to go back even further for a non-conference. Yeah,
So,
believe this.
I think Lindenwood would have counted.
No, I'm not
What
counting that.
Lindenwood would not be a D1.
I don't believe they were officially D1 last year.
This was
Were
2 years
they?
ago.
Oh no, then they
So maybe
wouldn't have
not.
been.
So then they also beat Maryville and Lockhaven that year. So
Yeah,
Lockhaven would
Maryville
have
wouldn't
been
have
the
been
one.
division. Yeah, it would have been Lockhaven.
Yeah. Okay.
And then before that would have been, I don't know. We'd have to go way back. I feel like
They beat Stonehill.
I
But
don't. Yeah, again.
I don't know if Stonehill
Yeah,
had moved up.
exactly.
Same
Exactly.
with Queens is
Yes.
another school that just went up to D1.
And I don't know if that was the case back then.
So then it would have been Davidson that season.
Well, out of conference, I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know. Because the teams they beat that year were Davidson, Lindenwood, Maryville, Queens, and Stonehill. That's so funny. Like 3 of the most recent D1 call-ups are the ones that they beat.
Central Michigan, October 24th of 2021.
Yeah,
would have been the last time they won a non-conference game. What I like about this coach, before we get into the game, what I really like, and I texted you this, I think, and Laura Herf comes from blue blood, blue blood programs, UNC. She coached assistants at big time programs. And, I think you could sit here and say that there's no way she could relate to SLU players. And I think you'd be right. But what I did find interesting listening to Collin's call on the broadcast on Saturday was that her assistants played at Ohio and Maryville. So what I like about that are those are 2 ass programs. Like that. I mean, I'm just saying, like we're talking, I think we all agree that SLU field hockey has kind of been, they're not priority programs. Let me put it in a generous way. Let me put it nicely. They're not priority programs. They're not spending money on those programs. And I think it's important, to have that Craig Patrick to the Herb Brooks in a different way, right? Like I think Laura Herf is very much again, like I said, in lockstep with her team. She's kind of seems like a player's coach. Kind of seems like she's very much kind of truly empowering her players.
Yeah.
And I think it's still hard for her to relate to the players, and I think the players may have a hard time relating. So you have that kind of those 2 assistants that understand what it's like to play in programs that aren't priorities within their department.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's huge. I think that's super important.
It also helps that the assistants are 22 and 25 years old, probably based on their graduation years. I will correct you on 2 points. One of the assistants, Teresa Schmidt, went to Bellarmine, not Maryville.
Bellarmine, sorry. Thank you.
The other one graduated from Ohio this year, like this spring, and then herself went to Syracuse, not UNC.
Okay, that's what it was.
But you had the ACC right. But speaking of Ohio, Zach, they got a 3-1 win, as we said in this home opener here, and I don't know, that felt really surprising to me. I don't know if you felt surprised as well.
I do. To quote Pepper Brooks, I feel shocked. No, I think first of all, I do think it's super interesting, their schedule this year. I want to get into it because it feels like it's like they had some of these games. Like it's funny I feel like they added Lincoln Memorial. I feel like that was like a side deal between the actual athletic department, and like Josh Schertz to see if they could get Lincoln Memorial on the schedule because they didn't have anybody else.
Yeah.
So they were just like, well, we got to fill a schedule just in case, so let's work the connection we do have. Let's get to the game, man, because this was awesome. I wasn't necessarily shocked that they won. I know that Ohio is not it's one of those teams that SLU plays every year and always plays them tight. But 3-1 is a great result.
Yeah, I got curious about that. And last year, OU beat SLU 5-1 out there in Athens. Which I kind of vaguely remembered. They weren't bad though. Like they also beat Michigan State.
Yeah, they
State. They beat Vermont. They beat like some, Longwood, Bellarmine, Davidson, Central Michigan. They beat, a decent amount
Central
of teams last year.
Michigan's ass.
Yeah, but I mean, they win
I know.
7 games. That's not
I
something
think
SLU does.
right, and I think like again, like that's what bums me out, man. Is this program would be decent in the MAC, where you don't play against a bunch of schools from a bunch of private East Coast schools that pull from private East Coast schools with great field hockey programs.
Right.
But Shia Dry, our third favorite Australian Billiken of all time. Behind Cody Ellis and our guy,
Toby.
Toby Gillen. Thank you. She got the Billikens on the board in the second quarter with a tip in off a long pass from a long shot from Olivia Smith. Obviously, if you shoot from outside the circle in field hockey, it has to be tipped or touched in some way before it goes in the net. That's why it's one of the weirder sports where you see a long shot taken and like everybody will just get out of the way and let it go into the net. You'll see the goalie just like Goldberg from Mighty Ducks.
Right.
Take the goal. Fine. But yeah, I mean, it was outstanding goal by Shia Dry there. Ohio tied it less than 3 minutes later. Smith responded with a penalty stroke goal to make it 2-1 at halftime. Third quarter, Sierra Larson scored the only other goal in this game with an assist from Ella Etherington. The Billikens were outshot in this one 15-8, 8-3 in shots on goal. SLU made all 3 of the shots count in this one. And Abby Shallow was very good, obviously, stopping 7 of 8 shots. Pete, the broadcast for this one was weird. I learned today that if you as an athletic department do enough, if you fill the quota of ESPN games broadcast, you are allowed to broadcast on your own site, but the quality has to be below ESPN quality.
That is very weird. I don't, okay. I mean, whatever.
Yeah, no. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
But apparently, also, they do have a camera up on the light post, a la Xavier, and they're working to get that connected to the broadcast software.
Oh, that'd be great.
So yeah, I think they're going to be able to do it. But that was just something they weren't able to get. They use it for scouting. The team does. So, nice. But yeah, they also put one on top of, there's a camera up on top of the Herman press box now too. Like a hard camera up there.
That I thought we already established this year. I mean, it seems like the camera angle is different now, right?
It's actually like a camera they added to the, like it's stuck up there. Like it's like, it's not somebody like it, there's a, it's radio operated or whatever you want, radio control.
Gotcha. Okay.
Let's run down this Lincoln Memorial game. It was a drubbing.
It was 6-0 on Sunday the 7th. And my first question was Josh Schertz there? And if so, whose gear was he wearing? He was there a lot longer than he's been at SLU. You
want to know what kind of shirts he was wearing?
That's exactly right, Zach.
Reminds me of Jesse Hall telling Adam Banks, remember what side you're on.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
In both matches, Zach, I think you thought SLU had some really creative penalty corners.
Yeah, I thought they looked good. I mean, just a little misdirection. Again, you're playing, you're playing Lincoln Memorial D3 or whatever. But again, I thought, hey, look, even the Little Giants ran the annexation of Puerto Rico. So
that's 2 90s kids sports movie references in like 30 seconds. So
that and like B movies from 2009.
You're just at the top of your game right now. But that's the kind of thing the new coach brings, right? Is some creativity on those set pieces. Sierra Larson scored on a Shia Dry assist to give SLU a 1-0 lead into halftime. before they absolutely exploded in the third quarter. That's when all 5 of the remaining goals came. Abby Vitas twice, Olivia Smith once, Macy Budd once, and then Larson again. Just domination in this one. The stats are completely lopsided, not even worth running through because SLU just dominated this. But again, lower division game, schedule filler. Let's see what they do against some more D1 competition. Friday the 12th, they are at Bellarmine, one of those new D1 teams that I don't know. Hopefully they'll have a shot against.
I would like them in the A10. I've said that.
You did. You said that, yeah. I think last week even.
I'm going to say it till I manifesting abundance.
Well, Bellarmine, if it's any consolation, let's see here. They're 0-4.
Yeah.
Losses to St. Francis and UC Davis at home. They lost at Michigan State, although it was close, and then they got absolutely blown out 13-0 at number 7 Michigan. So
we're at the
winnable game.
We're at the end of this podcast, and barely anybody's probably listening at this point. So while we're at it, let's see when the last time the Billikens won 3 games in a row.
That's okay. I do have to get to bed at some point tonight.
Oh, that's rude. That's mean as fuck.
You're just messing around now.
No, let's see. I mean, it shouldn't be. I think they did. I think that happened recently, but yeah, I don't know. We'll look it up and come back. Get back to you, people. They did it. I remember when it was. Again, non-D1, 3 non-D1 games. It was the COVID year.
Yeah, 2020.
2020, 2021. It was Lindenwood, Bellarmine, and Bellarmine back to back. And they almost won 4 in a row. They lost 2-1 in overtime to Miami of Ohio.
Yeah.
I think it had to be Zoe Atkins' first year.
That was coming off of their 0-17 2019 year.
But hey, dude, I hope you're all locked in Friday. Get on board now. Buy low, sell high on this field hockey team. By the way, the attendance was crazy on Saturday, apparently.
Yeah.
Like, apparently the place was packed. By the way, also, SLU needs to, like, officially name the field hockey complex the Blue. Like, just go with whatever the team is calling it. That's what you should officially call it. Like, if you can give them nothing else, give them full reign to do whatever. Say, like, to create whatever culture they want.
I'm all for it. You've got there's no downside.
Oh, by the way, since we're at the end of this show, they built this $2 million facility. First of all, no shade, right? So they put some tents up, removable tents. We love a pop-up tent at SLU. And no place for the girls, the women, the players to sit under the tent. They're sitting on the ground on that shitty, rocky concrete that you're sure to break your phone on if you drop your phone face first.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? That that really nice. Yeah. It's the leave your shoes on concrete. But yeah, like, I just don't, this is the shit I'm talking about. They're really like, why? Like, why can't you, there's an IKEA a mile away.
Right.
You get a couple of stools. That's all. It's not like, I just don't understand how you, like I was watching, I want to get into it next week because the Pablo Torre, NBA stuff with Kawhi Leonard and the extra benefits, which is interesting because of name, image, and likeness and rev share now. I think we're gonna have to talk about that. I think we'll do it next week. But I forgot where I was going. But yeah,
furniture under the tent.
Yeah, well, it's just there's just small, like, these little things that. You've got to pay it. Like, it's just, Mark Cuban. I listened to Mark Cuban talk with Pablo Torre, and Mark Cuban was the first owner to really get in and be like, okay, how far are the toilets from the seats? How many toilets do we have per like hundreds of fans or whatever? And really got into the fan experience. And it's like, or the player experience. And it's like, that's the easiest thing to do. You've got to hit those notes that give the player the best experience. And I don't think they'll express their gratitude if you give them benches to sit, like little, not even benches. Yeah. Get those quick goal benches for fuck's sake. Like, I don't know, just somewhere to sit. Who cares? Like, I don't know. Chairs, even plastic chairs.
Anything.
It's kind of dumb. All right, that's it. And wait, cross country.
Yeah, nothing pressing here. They don't have their next meet until the Bradley Intercollegiate on September 19th.
Rock on. Hey, field hockey is 2-1, 1-1 in D1 games, and a chance to go 2-1 on the season in D1 games. And that's something it would take us probably a couple hours to look up when the last time that happened. And even then we wouldn't be sure if they were D1 programs they were playing.
That's true.
So I'm going to find that out for next time. It's certainly, it's one of the better starts to fall sports I can remember. Pete, go Bills.
Go Bills.